What's up, gang? That's right. It is about 39 degrees out here today. I got my little birthday present. My daughters gave me nice and warm. It's damn near like a Snuggie, man. It's awesome. But anyway, man, welcome to today's podcast. I am Lieutenant Sal Blue, 28-year law enforcement veteran and the author of the top 25 mistakes en route to the good life. Coming at you today with my daily podcast, guys. What's going on, man? I come to a revelation, man, that I need more resources. I need more resources in order to do more marketing, in order to get out of the funk, the steep hole that I put myself in over the years, man. Frivolous spending, nonsense, BS. And I want to tell you guys, you have to learn from your mistakes, man. You have to learn from your mistakes. But more importantly, man, you should be learning from other people's mistakes. So you should be following somebody who is on a good path, who is doing the right thing. And it all depends on what you want to do in your life. Now, I tell people this all the time, right? I always tell people, make sure you're learning from other people's mistakes. Don't be out there trying to make your own mistakes. But one of the most important things that I tell people all the time is that you got to be following the right person about the right thing, right? So everybody isn't good at everything, right? So you may have a person who is great at business, who is horrible at relationships, right? You shouldn't be getting relationship advice from the business guy, right? You might have somebody who is fantastic in real estate but horrible in investing in crypto, right? You shouldn't be talking to him about no crypto advice, right? So you always got to make sure that you're avoiding making the mistakes that those people would also make because they're not experts in that area, but also following, okay, some of the advice that they give you in the areas that they're experts at. So I just wanted to say that real quick. It was something I was thinking about, guys. Something that I was working on. I'm literally thinking about going out and getting another job, right? Another job. I'm retired from my 28-year law enforcement job. Thinking about going out and getting another job. It's just some lowest hanging fruit, just to have some income coming in so I could do a lot of marketing and advertising. I truly am working on so many other skills, but at the time, those skills aren't paying the bills, man. They're not paying the business bills, right? And so I don't want my business to die in its early infancy, so I need a cash infusion, man. I need a cash infusion, and I'm going to be coming out of my own pocket because I don't want to give half of my business away to a venture capitalist. So this is money I'm going to earn, whether I have to sell things online, whether I have to go out there and trade time for money, whatever I can figure out right now. But the reason why I'm doing it is because I know it's only temporary, man. It's just a temporary thing that needs to be done in order to have an ends to a means, right? To get to the end of the goal that I truly want, to gain some momentum in my business and my sales and everything else. While I'm learning my skills, I still got to keep my business afloat, guys. So that is what it is. That is what I'm doing. That is what I'm thinking about, and that is what's on my mind, man. But I want to tell you guys this as I talk about mistakes, right? The lesson that you struggle with will repeat itself until you learn from it. You got to learn from the lesson, or it's going to continue to be a repeat occurrence over and over and over again in your life, guys. Over and over again in your life. It's just what happens in life, right? When it comes to just fate. It is fate that when things are going wrong, they're going wrong because you are not learning from the lesson that the universe is trying to teach you, guys. The universe is trying to teach you guys a lesson, and you have to begin to say, where did I go wrong? What did I do, right? And if you can't come up with the answers yourself, then you may need to go to an expert and say, hey, listen, I did this, this, and this. What did I do wrong, and why did it cause me issues and problems in my life right now or in my business right now? What did I do? You know, and then they'll give you an answer. And when they give you an answer, you go back and you do it and you see the difference and how it works out, right? And I promise you, if you continue to learn from lessons, those lessons of pain and struggle won't continue and be repetitive in your life, right? So, I just want to say that to you guys, right? And I have a quote from Oliver Wendell Holmes that, as I was reading and thinking about it, it just crossed my mind. I felt it was appropriate for this podcast, and that is, a man's mind stretched to a new idea never goes back to its original dimension. Just think about that, right? A man's mind stretched to a new idea never goes back to its original dimension. What that means, guys, is that means if you experience something in life, right? If you experience something in life, it is hard to unexperience that, guys. It is hard to unsee things that have happened. And you know, I just taking me back when I was a child, when I finally realized that a lot of the myths that my parents talked about weren't true, like Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and all of these things. When I realized that they weren't true, those things weren't true, then I understood, right, that it was my parents that did all these things for me, and that me not being appreciative of what they were doing for me was really, really, really the problem that I had with myself. I caused that problem, right? Because I'm thinking that somebody outside my home was coming in and bringing me all these gifts and all of these special things when I was a child. And then when I realized it was my parents, you know, even as a child, it was a revelation of appreciation, right? Didn't appreciate how much they did for you until you realize how much they did for you, right? You know how this saying is, you don't know what you don't know. Even as a child, right, that happens in your life, guys. You can't unsee that. Your mind is now stretched and you can't go back. And that's just something small that I like to talk about all the time, guys, because I don't want to give you guys some deep, detailed thing, but Santa Claus is something that all of us probably have experienced when we were children. You know, Santa Claus and all of the holidays and Easter bunnies and all of the myths that have happened, or lies that we were told when we were children. You know, I guess I can call them lies now, right? But anyway, guys, you can't go back to that. So I want to ask you guys, what is something, right? What is something that once you learned it, you could never go back to what you believed? I already told you, mine was this Santa Claus thing, man. I couldn't go back to it. And I think you guys need to write that down for yourself, because believe it or not, even though I said something small, it could be some major, major thing that is life-changing for you, that once you saw it, once you learned it, you couldn't go back, right? You just couldn't go back. One of the things was my abilities, right? My abilities. And so I talk about some of the physical abilities of me when I was at the academy running under a 6-minute mile. And it always reminds me of Roger Bannister, right? Roger Bannister was the first one to break the 4-minute mile mark. And it was funny because when I was in the academy, not a lot of people were running 6-minute miles at the police academy, right? So I was at the academy, and so because a lot of people weren't running the 6-minute mile, I decided to put the governor on, man, pull it back a little bit, not show off, not do my thing. And it was not until as I'm holding back, it was another recruit. Don't remember his name, man. The academy was so big, so long ago. But he took off. He literally took off when they started us running. Took off, and he was running. He was running like a bat out of hell, right? And so my adrenaline kicked in. My adrenaline kicked in, and I'm running, and I'm trying to keep up with him, catch up with him, and my initial adrenaline got me just thinking about him being so far ahead because he took off like a maniac, right? And we're only running a mile and a half, right? We're only running about a mile and a half, and so I usually finish a mile and a half at my best time, right? 7 minutes, you know, maybe 7, 8 minutes, right? And so anyway, he takes off, and not a mile, but a mile, right? So he takes off, and I could tell that he was on a 6 minute mile pace, right? Now, initially, I wasn't thinking about it that he was on a 6 minute mile pace, but because I felt like he was trying to pretty much take over the spot of he's the new runner in the class. I got drawn in. I got drawn in, and here I go. He's running, I'm running. He's running, I run. He got a big head start, and he's really flying, and he looks like he has tons of energy to finish this mile in well under 6 minutes. Well under 6 minutes, right? And I think my best time during that time was about 5 minutes and 49 seconds, all right, in the mile. And this guy's flying, and he literally made me give it all I got just to catch up with him. Just to catch up with him. And I'm putting my all into it, and I'm pushing, and I'm pumping. And I am going, right? And so I'm slowly but surely closing the gap, right? And it had to be about 3/4 of a way in a mile, right? I noticed that maybe he was slowing down, or maybe I was getting faster. I did not know. But I just kept pushing and kept going, and boom, I passed him, and the little bit less than a tenth of a mile left, and I saw myself pulling away from him, and what do? I run the mile in about 5 minutes and 38 seconds. 5 minutes and 38 seconds was my time finishing the mile, and the first thing my instructor told me was, "Where was all that the first 12 weeks of the academy?" The first 12 weeks of the academy, where was all that? And the cat was out the bag then. The cat was out the bag, and so I couldn't go back. I couldn't go back because I thought that I could only run about a 6 minute mile, and that was my limit, and so I wasn't able to push it any further than that. And then when somebody else came along and pushed me to my limits, I couldn't go back to where I was at. Now every time when it was a run, everybody knew what was going to happen. Yeah, me and this other recruit, we were going to take off, and everybody then had to step up their game. There was no more everybody holding back on the run, everybody doing less on the run. So that was serious, and that changed for me. So when was the time that something like that happened for you guys, where you learned something and you just couldn't go back? Man, that was my lifetime story right there, guys. But I want you guys to know, right, when things happen in your life that change you, things that change you, right, you want to learn from those things, right? You want to learn from them. You don't want to live in them, right? Especially painful things. When painful things happen in your life, guys, you don't want to spend a lot of time living in that moment. You know, we have a lot of experiences in our life that we could have gotten through so much faster, right, if we didn't allow them to damage us so much by letting them sit in our emotions and relive in our mind over and over again, damaging our ability to move forward and move on. You know, I had some tragedies in my life, lost family members, people really, really close to me, really great tragedies. And I made the biggest mistake of believing to myself that by staying in pain and staying hurting, I kept a memory alive, right? I literally thought that if I was to stay in pain, their memory would last longer, right? I could truly show that I loved them if I truly showed how much I continually hurt over and over again for days, weeks, months, years. That's right, years of just trying to show them and just having moments of pain and fear and hurt, right? Just because of what happened to him. And that is further from the truth, guys. That is not how you honor somebody. You honor somebody from celebrating life and moving on, right? Especially if you lose somebody. You know, so and we're gonna get into that in a little bit later about losing people in this universe, something that I learned later on, right? But if it is something in my life, if something in my life happens that forces me into a new belief, it may hurt, right? And this is me now, right? It may hurt, but I immediately take that same energy now. I take that energy and I use it to give me focus, right? So instead of being in pain, I know that this is moment of high energy. And so at this moment of high energy, I take all of that feeling and I put it and I focus it towards something that I'm working on, something that I need to figure out, something that I need to achieve, right? Maybe a book that I need to read, or something that I need to write up for my business, maybe whatever paperwork. I take it and I use that same energy and I focus it, because the energy is the same no matter how you use it. You can use it to sulk and cry and whine about life isn't fair, or you can use it to focus on making things better in your life, right? So you can give some value, so you can be more and do more, right? Now, that focus, I use it to empower me, right? To move forward constantly. And you have to begin to do the same, right? So you take the pain or whatever you're feeling, you throw it into focus, right? And that focus is on something that empowers you, not something that tears you down, not something that hurts you, not something that beats you up. Use that focus to empower you, right? Now, see, if you don't convert that energy, that same energy that I'm talking about from the pain or the event that has happened in your life, if you don't convert that energy into power and focus, by default, guys, by default, it will be converted into pain and regret, right? So you have a choice. You have a very, very short time period, moment, where you know that whatever event has happened, it is painful, and you can choose at that moment to convert that to focus and power, and empower yourself, because if you don't, we are negative by nature. So if we're negative by nature, your mind is immediately going to shift into a loop. And that loop that it shifts into is regret, pain, could I have done better, disbelief. All of those things are going to start looping in your brain, right? And those are constant loops that have one meaning. All of those beliefs have one meaning, and that one meaning is to keep you in the moment, right? And then once you're in the moment, right, then your mind is going to justify that moment by telling you that we should be in this moment because we're honoring the fallen, right? We're honoring somebody. We're honoring them by showing them that we're really, truly feeling the pain. And it's not the case, guys. That is not how you make it through life at the highest level, moving at an extremely high level. Now, many years ago, guys, I started on what I call a mindset mission to find value in everything I experience. Everything, right? Good, bad, happy, sad, right, wrong, whatever it is. Every single experience I have in life, right? Whether it's comfortable or uncomfortable, okay, I am working on my mindset shift, right, to say that it is a good experience by finding value in it, right? So everything I experience, I want to find some value in it. Now, I didn't come up with this myself, right? I didn't come up with this myself when I started this mindset mission. It happened from one of the first times I read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, right? And so when I read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, he had something in their mindset, and I can't quote him directly because I don't really have the book right in front of me. But one of the things that he said in Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, he said that behind every defeat lies a seed of equal or greater equivalent. Right? Between every defeat, right? Every failure lies a seed of equal or greater equivalent. He said lies a seed. Now, if it lies the seed, then why isn't everybody finding that seed every time they fail? And the reason is because they're not looking for it. Right? They're not looking for it. He didn't say a whole haystack. He's talking about the needle in the haystack when he says a small seed. So you have to search. Every time you have a failure or defeat or pain or things that cause you extreme discomfort, you have to look and say, what is this equivalent? What can I get out of this positively? What can I use to turn this into a good experience, a positive experience, right? And not positive as in feel good, but positive as in I gained value from it. I was in a lot of pain and it hurt, but I gained value from it. How about that? You know, I lost this person in my life and they're gone forever in this form, but I learned something from the experience we had together, you know, and I value that and not live in the pain, guys. So understand that when it comes to my mindset shift, that philosophy, right? Now, I have since used this philosophy to recover from everything, every setback, every heartache, every failure, every defeat in all areas of my life. I don't just use it in business, right? I use it in relationships, right? I use it in my health, man. I had a very severe knee injury and quadricep rupture, and I use this same mindset theory of rebuilding myself, man. Call myself the bionic man when I ran that marathon after my injury. And I use it in business, right? And because I'm willing to take a step back in order to take a leap forward. So I use it in all areas of my life. There's always something good that you can get out of everything. There's always something valuable. So understand that. And if you treat yourself like an explorer, right? You treat yourself like a scientist, you will always discover something good in everything of your life because you will always find value even in the midst of the pain, especially in the midst of the pain. I think that during times of pain and heartache, we learn the most. We learn the most about ourselves. We learn the most about other people. We learn the most about our skill set, right? And we learn the most about what we need to do to move forward, right? Because when we're happy, we're just partying, right? We're just partying, we're enjoying life, and we're not thinking about much. We're not thinking about much, right? But when you're in pain, you take time and you think. You think. You know, I started appreciating times when I was in pain because I think that I worked out the hardest, right? I was more introspective, okay, about my life and things that I needed to do. I was far more courteous to way more people, you know, and my mindset was always in the realm of openness for learning more, guys. So a lot of times when I'm in pain, I go, hey, listen, I'm here. I'm in that moment now. I'm in that moment of growth. So guys, listen, the moment of growth is a lot of times it's painful, guys. So you got to understand it in your life. Now, this may be hard for a lot of people. It may be hard for a lot of people to find something of value in everything that they experience in life, but that is why most people will never have a good life. Most people will never have a good life because they refuse the hard work, man. They refuse to put it in. So don't let that be you when it comes to a good life, right? I used to feel this way, man. I used to feel this way about loss, and it kept me frozen in time, right? It kept me from not being able to achieve anything. And I don't want that to be you guys, frozen in time. Pain freezes you in time. Don't allow it. Learn from it and grow, guys. Learn from it and grow. But I soon realized, guys, that that in this life, right, loss is only imaginary. We don't lose things in this universe, right? We never lose things. They just change forms, right? You never lose somebody. Like Einstein said, matter can only never be created or destroyed. So if that's the case in our universe, things just change form. And that's the same thing with a relationship. If you are in a relationship and you feel lost and you're holding on to that, it is because that is the meaning that you added to that. As opposed to when you're in a relationship and it's over, you say, hey, it's over, and I grew from that. I didn't lose from that, I grew from that. So start to understand and add this philosophy in your life, man. And I think that it will make dramatic changes to how your life turns out, man. So listen, I want to finish up with this one quote by Arthur C. Clarke, and that quote is, right, the only way to discover the limits of the possible is to go beyond them into the impossible, man. And I think that that's what we all need to do in order to have a better life, guys. Seek the impossible. So this is Sound Blue. I'm wrapping it up today. Make sure you guys hop on over to lieutenantsoundblue.com. Pick up your copy of my book, Top 25 Mistakes, as well as, man, shoot me a DM on all the social platforms to let me know what you want me to talk about tomorrow, man. This is Lieutenant Sound Blue. Battery's getting low, so I'm going to wrap it up for the evening, man. And you guys on YouTube and Spotify, you guys have a great night, and I'll talk to you later, man. Deuces.